and good morning. Welcome back to my channel, my lovelies. As you can tell, I've just woken up. I need to go wash off my fake tan. Anyway, I thought I would film a what I eat in a day on my bulk because I've always been on the fence, to be honest with you, about these types of videos, like especially TikToks, Instagrams, Reels, shorter form content. It always starts out with a photo or a video of what that person looks like, i.e. I think subconsciously, because you can't get that much information across in such a short video, it's literally like bang, 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 these are my meals. Some people do include nutritional info, which I think has its place, but I think when we're starting all of those videos with this is what I look like, I do think subconsciously for those less educated or more insecure people, it does drive the narrative of if you want to look like this, here is what to eat. And we know that everybody's body, everybody's goals, everyone's needs are so different. And honestly, you could line up 10 different people, feed them all the same thing, put them on the exact same workout routine, the same externals, and they would all look completely different, which I just don't think you can get across. So I have never posted a what I eat in a day on Instagram. I literally just for the very first time posted some meal inspo on my bulk on TikTok, which is literally just some of the favourite meals that I've been having. But I've actually had quite a lot of messages asking, especially as a vegan, to go through what I'm eating on my bulk. I thought YouTube would be the perfect place to do it because I'm so anti anything quick form with misinformation that perpetuates this narrative. So I, just wanted to kind of use YouTube as the platform to do it if I were going to do it. So this is literally just a random day. It's Friday today. I am training. It's currently 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'm literally just gonna get ready for the gym and then have breakfast. I'll kind of just walk you through what I'm having on this random day and what I'm kind of doing to navigate my bulk as a vegan. Hopefully just give you guys some tips and things like that, and we can just talk through things in a bit more detail. Right, I'm going to slick back my hair for training today because as you can see it's in dire need of a wash. If you guys are new here to my channel, I am a powerlifter. I'm about 5 months, coming up on 4 months now actually, out from my first national powerlifting competition, and I have chronically been weighing in very light for my weight class. Compete as an under 69 for the last couple of times. I've been around the 65 mark, so I've got like 4 kilos within my weight class to play with. So I'm doing my first ever scheduled or intentional bulk, and I am vegan. So I am officially, just to catch you guys up, halfway through my bulk now. I have weighed in, I'm fluctuating really between about 3.5 to 4 kilos over what I weighed in on comp day. Obviously there's tons of reasons for that, because in 6 weeks I'm not going to put on 3.5 kilos of body fat or muscle mass because I'm just not eating enough. So the general rule of thumb, there was a bit of research done a long time ago and the figure's kind of stuck. It's a little bit like the 10k steps thing that just kind of came out of nowhere, but there is some backing to it, so it's kind of just become a nice way to contextualize how hard it is to put on big amounts of body fat. And I use that in the context of working as a female strength coach. I see it a lot with clients where they'll see the scales go up and immediately panic that they've got fat or put on body fat. So it's a really good way of just contextualizing that that isn't going to be the case. So generally you have to be about 3,500 calories over maintenance to gain 1 pound of body fat. So that's a lot of calories, and obviously you would have to be eating that amount for a very long period of time to see the kind of fluctuation that I'm talking about. So remember that maintenance looks different on everyone. Everyone's maintenance is different. So for me, I mean, as a rough ballpark, I'd probably be edging up the 6,000 calorie mark, right? So it's pretty insane. I'm just not eating that amount, and muscle mass takes a long time to build. You have to be training very hard, you have to be eating a lot, and you have to be doing it for a long period of time because we actually don't build muscle until we're rested. So the general cycle is stimulate, recover and grow. So we don't build muscle in the gym. Basically what we do is stimulate the muscles. I'm just popping a hair mask in. This is actually how I do my slick back stuff now. Literally just a hair mask. So yeah, we stimulate the muscles in the gym. Essentially, we want to train, well, if we're talking simply about muscle growth, obviously this is a very, very watered down version because I can't be asked to get into it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm just giving you an overview as to why I have not put on 3.5 kilos of muscle mass in 6 weeks. Yeah, we stimulate the muscles through our training, and essentially what we're trying to do is, talking about muscle growth, we're creating micro tears in the muscle fibers. That's the bit that happens through training. Obviously then outside of the gym, your rest, your recovery, your sleep, your water intake, your protein particularly, all of those things combine, and we have to recover to let those micro tears heal. And essentially muscle growth happens like this. So micro tear, heal, micro tear, heal, micro tear, heal. And that's the process of muscle building. So the rest and recovery is actually the point at which we grow the muscle. Anyway, sorry, massive sidetrack. So essentially, yeah, I'm weighing in about 3.5 to 4 kilos heavier than comp day. Now, I've not been eating enough calories for that to be body fat, and I've certainly not been doing it long enough or training hard enough for that to be 3.5 kilos of muscle mass. Now, then what the fuck is going on, right? I basically, the biggest thing is that I am simply eating more. So a lot of that is going to be down to things like food volume, because I'm just eating more. So obviously in the comparison to comp day, it's not going to be the best example, because on comp day I had dropped body fat, because on comp day I had just gone into it with a gut cut, so my body was physically holding far less. For anyone that isn't familiar with the gut cut, I went through it on my comp day vlog, but it's essentially where we reduce the fibre intake throughout a sort of 48 to 24 hour period. Again, differs person to person and the nature of their comp prep. Fibre is the bit that aids with digestion, so it stays in our body for quite a long period of time. So essentially reducing your fibre intake means that there is less in your gut, and therefore on the scales we're weighing in lighter. So obviously as a comparison to comp day weight itself, I'm just going to have more food volume in my body. Being in a surplus as well, I am eating more food. So that's probably the number one thing, is food volume literally in my body is up. That also means more food volume, more muscle glycogen stores. It's also going to be then down to things like water intake. Again, comp day I hadn't had much water to manipulate the scales. That is higher now. It's all sorts of things as well. Sodium intake, carb intake, sleep, where we're at in our cycle, bowel movements, lifestyle. I've definitely been moving a lot less because I'm in a bulk and I've been crazy busy with work. Like my daily expenditure is down a bit, which is fine. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at, just to catch you guys up with the halfway point. And I'm totally fine with it. So obviously there will be an element of body fat gain because I'm in a surplus. I'm not in an insane surplus. We're only doing it for a shorter period of time, but I'm definitely in a surplus. So there is body fat gain and there will be muscle gain. I'm just weighing in a bit heavier because of all of those other things. So, yeah, basically I'm off to the gym this morning, so I will walk you through what I have to eat in a day on my bulk. Alright, breakfast time. Now, I will warn you, my breakfasts are boring because there is not a day in the last, I don't even know how long, where I have not had oats. But oats, they're just a staple. Number one, just because for training they are so good for fueling you. Number two, because you can be so creative, you can literally do them any fucking which way. So if you need like higher carbs or higher fibre but less protein, you don't have to use protein. If you need to up the protein, you can get quite a lot in there. Portion sizes up, down, toppings, like, oh, the world is your oyster. So I love them. So at the moment, like when I was, to be honest, portion sizes with oats haven't really changed. Like when I was cutting or just at maintenance, I'd usually have about 35 grams. The way that I'm doing them now, I have 40. So I've upped it a little bit. Obviously in a deficit, volume eating is always going to be the way forward. I've talked about this a lot because you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. You can build quite a lot of volume with low calories. with obviously bulking, especially as a female, like with a lower appetite, you want to make sure that you are getting your bang for your buck as well, in a different sense, in that you're getting enough calories in each of your meals. This is the ESN protein powder. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, so I do work with them. I have a discount code that will always get you the top discounts on the website. I am still newer to working with them, so I am working my way through a lot of their supplements, but they sent me initially, before I started working with them, a bunch of stuff to try. And I'll be honest with you, the selling point for me was the protein powders. Like, as a vegan, why are they all shit? Like, I just could never get on with them. So I always used to just buy like the My Protein like soya isolate because it was cheap. And I literally would just have it in my oats, but then I'd always have to have toppings because you either couldn't really taste it or like it was okay. There's some that I've tried that are dog shit. This, unbelievable. Honestly, my favourite flavour I think is the dark cookies, which I think, well, at the time of filming this, it got restocked in ESN week. By the time that I post it, ESN week will be over, but it might still be in stock. Have a little look, because I'll put the support link in the caption of the video. But yeah, oats for me are just the way forward. Like, these are unbelievable protein powders. So yeah, I'm literally just having oats at the moment. I have just been having Biscoff on it, so I get like a good amount of carbs from the oats themselves. Pretty good amount of fibre. Obviously the protein powder, we tick the box of protein. I also use soy milk. It's just my personal preference because it's a bit thicker, so it mixes a bit better with the oats. And obviously of the milk alternatives, it's the highest protein. And then I've literally just been topping it off with Biscoff because I can get my fats up that way. I went through a PB&J era. I've been through all sorts of eras. Biscoff is the era at the moment. I used to have it with like just fruit on top. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm still making sure that I'm prioritising my macros, but to be honest with what I need to get in for breakfast, if I was to then top this off with loads of strawberries and blueberries, the portion would just be way too big for me. So I've kind of stuck with this, and I'm just making sure that I get my macros in elsewhere. So this is a pretty just bog standard plain, but fucking slaps. Not gonna lie to you. Just got changed for the gym as well, so I'm just gonna weigh up my Biscoff. Connor's picking me up and we're going to the gym together, so I've just got to wolf this down. I'll also show you what I'm taking to the gym in terms of like supplements, etc. Not gonna lie to you, let me just show you her. She's not very aesthetic, because I'll be honest with you, it's not realistic, but it does the job. It's a sufficient enough portion, and the most important thing is it tastes unreal, okay? Don't get sucked into this whole like aesthetic thing from what I eat in a day. That's the other thing that used to bother me. Don't stress yourself out if your oats don't look like one of those like unreal smoothie bowls or whatever. Like, it's fine. Just work what you need to in there. It's going in your stomach. And then last little thing, oh my god, it's so dark in here. Last little thing is what I'm actually taking to the gym. So at the moment, honestly, you guys know if you've been watching me for a while, I'm such a monster gal through and through. I've started having the ESN Crank Energy purely because they are so much cheaper, and actually they're really nice. I've never been an energy drink flavour gal, so I don't like the original, and the magenta is like energy drink flavour but with an extra flavour. I can't quite explain it, can't get on with it. I actually really am enjoying the peach iced tea flavour. They've got a lemon iced tea, which is really nice, really refreshing. The tropical one tastes like Rubicon, so that's really nice, especially if you're like a sweeter tooth person. It tastes like full sugar flavour as well, but it's not. And then the white one I have yet to try because it's been out of stock for ages, but it's on my way in my monthly athlete order, and apparently that tastes like a white Monster. So I'm very excited. So I've been having my Crank Energies to get me through sessions. I've also then got my electrolyte. I'll just show you these, really affordable. They basically come in these little sachets. So you get loads, I think there's like 15 in a box. This is the red apple flavour. It kind of tastes like apple juice. So I have like 600 ml water of that to make sure that I'm hydrated through my session. And these are the two things that I'll be drinking, as well as just like normal water.
Just say what you're doing. Say what you see.
Just pulling into the gym.
Skirt.
I've got actually a very, very chilled session. It's week 2 now. So today is pause squats and then just upper. So I've got a single pause squat at a 5.5, which would probably be like 110, 112. 3x5 at a 5.5. Close grip bench, touch and go 3x6 at a 5.5, dumbbell press 3x8 to 10 at an 8, and then underhand up pull down 3x12 at an 8. And I didn't bring my mic, so that's the only reason that I'm doing an overview, so you actually know what the fuck's going on. What are you doing today, Connor?
I'm squatting.
And?
Some bench. Boring. What do you do when you're a powerlifter? Squat, bench, dead. What do you do on your next day? Squat, bench, dead. Bench, dead. Squat, bench.
Take time. Good time. Yeah. Sure. Six.
Sure do we all that junk inside your trunk. She love junk like my hump, 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 my hump.
Yeah.
I was made for loving you, baby. You were made for loving me. Baby, come on, love for your baby, come on, love your baby, love.
Okay, so I've just got back from the gym. I do actually have meal prep for lunch, which makes my life very easy. So I've got pad thai? Yeah, pad thai prepped and ready to go. Now, obviously with a vegan diet, it's very fibrous. So the general recommendation, obviously this is a big sweeping generalization, but around 30 grams of fiber is sort of the recommended daily intake. Now, because your diet as a vegan is entirely plant-based, fiber is very high. So obviously with meat substitutes, it's a lot more processed, but with the whole foods approach to protein, things like beans, lentils, pulses, anything in that category, fiber is very high. So hitting a good amount of protein as a vegan whilst also balancing fiber intake, I found so challenging. So it is a balancing act. So basically for breakfast, obviously I had oats, got a decent amount of fiber in it. I am actually using corn pieces in this meal prep because I actually just prefer the texture. I could use tofu, but I just decided to do corn pieces with this particular meal. So basically, just for a bit of context, it's quite a hard balancing act, which does mean that whatever I decide to have for dinner, I'm probably gonna have to manage fiber intake a little bit there. So obviously with this, there's loads of veggies. I've got, I think, 150 grams of corn pieces, so like a good amount of protein, and it's rice noodles. So carbs are sitting pretty well because it's a pad thai. There's some peanuts in there and the sauce as well. Fats are at like a good point. So it's actually a really nice balanced meal in terms of my personal macros. Fiber will need to be a bit lower, but I'll probably need to still push the protein and the carbs up. So I'm thinking I will have something with tofu, because tofu is an unreal one for keeping fiber low, but still like a decent amount of protein. I don't like eating tofu with pasta. It's just something about the combination of textures. So I probably will end up having tofu with rice, but I'll need to get carbs up elsewhere, so I'll probably just have like a bagel or something like that. And that's kind of how I end up going about and planning my days, because I have very consistent breakfast. I obviously can just tweak the amounts of things to get the macros that I need, so like less bisque off for less fats or push the number of oats I have for carbs. But yeah, and then I will usually plan my lunch around that. Dinner is usually the one, to be honest, that I'll pick first, because there's just something about having like the dinner that you want, you know, ending the day on the meal that you've actually craved. So usually I'll input breakfast, I'll input dinner, and then I'll work lunch around whatever I have left. On this occasion, because it's last night's dinner that I'm having for lunch, dinner is then just gonna have to slot in with whatever calories and macros that I have left. So it's a bit of a balancing act. To be honest, I find being a vegan, I do really have to keep an eye on my fibre. I can't just have like whatever protein source I fancy or like whatever works with my macros without looking at that, because otherwise I end up insanely bloated, and obviously it does start to have a bit of an impact on your digestion. Fibre is such a great one because it's so good for digestion, satiation, like managing your blood sugars, but if you have too much, it doesn't sit great, basically. It's very heavy. So yeah, I basically need to keep an eye on my fibre for that reason as a vegan. So that's where like just managing my protein sources kind of comes in there a bit. So yeah, I'll probably end up having tofu because it isn't crazy high in protein. I will likely need to have a protein shake or something of that nature. But that is basically how I go about planning my meals as a vegan. Obviously there's loads of different protein sources that you can have. So like last night I had 2 Linda McCartney quarter-pounder burgers, which ended up, I had them in bagels, ended up being like 50 grams of protein. So like it's totally doable. But once again, because it was high in fibre, you've just got to have that balancing act. So that's my only thing. Protein intake is 100% doable for me personally. It's also then just mitigating that with fibre intake. So especially if you're having lots of beans, lentils, pulses, that racks up very quickly. So it's just like a bit of a balancing act. Get a plan together for dinner, and I'll probably end up having like a bagel and a protein source as like a snack. Obviously in the last Bulk Diaries episode I kind of talked through having more regular meals, and that's absolutely still the way that I'm approaching it. So yeah, I am just having a twister because you know when you really crave something sweet, these are like my go-tos. Slay. Right, so I need to get my protein up. So I'm basically gonna have Alpro yogurt. So what I do usually do is add a scoop of my ESN flavour powder. I've got 2. This is the one that I've been loving at the moment. It's basically, where is the scoop? Like cookies and cream. Let me just show you it. So it's literally got like dark chocolate chunks in it. So 1 scoop is 10 cals. And you get the actual chunks. So, and it's, do you know what, for flavour powders as well, it's so like powerful. Like the scoop is tiny, it's itty bitty, and it gives you so much flavour, it's a joke. So I'm gonna put some of it in here. I probably won't need it, but it's just really nice, and I like the crunchy bits. So yeah, I'm literally just gonna have some Alpro yogurt, pop a scoop of this in it as my snack, which is going to give me like an extra 15-20 grams of protein, I think. Should give me about another 15 grams of protein. I'm really hungry today, so usually I would actually get quite a lot more protein like with smaller portions, but your gal's hungry, so I'm actually going to spread these out a fair bit. I'm going to have this now. I'm going to have dinner a little bit earlier than I would anticipate so that I can also then have some more protein in the evening. Because I feel like I need to space it out. I'm in that mood. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to have this. I'll show you it in a sec. Yeah, it's literally yogurt. It's literally got the little chocolate chunks in it, which is really nice. I'm also having a Tango to get me through my afternoon work block. I'm just doing some video analysis with my clients. So I've just finished work. Now, I know I said that I didn't like tofu with pasta or anything like that, but I basically put everything into MyFitnessPal and I've shot myself in the foot a little bit because my fibre is way higher than I anticipated. So this is kind of just a dinner where I'm having to like scramble to make my macros and have to just not give a shit about what's in there. So slightly less than ideal, but basically this is one of those situations. So this is why you plan in advance. So you don't get these nasty surprises. You go in eyes wide open, and it's actually probably not a bad day to vlog on because I've just been so busy recently. So this is quite literally worst case scenario. Like I will just say, usually I'm way more on top of things. So I hope this is providing a little bit of insight because the if it fits your macros approach, like especially among nutritionists, is a little bit of a debate because sometimes it can prompt you to just eat shit if it fits your macros and stuff like that. Now, I am having to take the if it fits your macros approach with dinner purely because I want to make sure that I hit my cows and that I prioritize the right things. Otherwise, this would be one of those situations where I'm like, well, I'm within calories and I've hit my, you know, protein, carbs, whatever, but my fiber is way higher. So like I am factoring in the right things. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. But yeah, I'm kind of having to just think on the spot. So essentially with dinner, I'm having to get my protein and carbs as high as I can while keeping my fiber as low as possible, which is proving challenging. Like I said, tofu is a really nice one because it is relatively low fiber, next to no fiber, and is kind of high protein, or the highest protein, lowest fiber protein source that you're going to get as a vegan. So I'm literally having tofu with a buttload of pasta. My fats are surprisingly low, so I'm actually going to have pesto and a little bit of vegan cheese with it as well. So essentially pesto pasta, but rather than like a chicken alternative, I'm just having tofu. So I think my way to get around it is just going to be to put some like cornstarch on the tofu, crisping it up a little bit. And we'll see how we go from there, but that's going to have to be the plan for tonight. So we'll see how it goes. I'm just going to have to suck it up. So yeah, slightly disorganised, but sort of hopefully showing you how I'm overcoming it at the same time. Alright, well, it's a bit odd, but I actually don't hate that because the tofu that I'm using is, I get this from Tesco, it's sriracha, so it's like pre-marinated. So with the pesto, you get a little bit of a kick. So it's actually got loads of flavour in it, and because I did the tofu like a bit crispier, I've always just not got on with like the textures, but I really don't hate that. It's for a throw together, try and fit my macros thing, it's not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, I'm actually not going to complain about that. Now, because my fibre has been so high, obviously as opposed to having like 200 fucking grams of pasta, I am still a little bit low on calories and carbs. So I think what I'm going to have to do is have a bagel, just to like top me up. There's a couple of grams of fibre in bagels, but it's like 2, maybe 3 max, which literally only just sends me over my fibre target, but I'd rather be a little bit over that but hit my carbs and my calories. And I've still got some fat, so I'm just going to have some peanut butter and jam, PB&J bagel, I think, to finish the day. But yeah, I'm really not mad about this. I actually can turn that off. I actually really don't hate that. So I'm going to go and be a couch potato and eat my not so bad throw together meal, have a little bagel in a little bit. And that is today. So thank you for joining me on this very random what I eat in a day. I hope this has given a bit of insight into some of the stuff that I have, some of the thought patterns that go into this. Honestly, when it comes to bulking, top 2 pieces of advice: plan your fucking meals. Don't get caught out. Go into your days eyes wide open. Don't do what I did today. But if you do, second thing is hopefully this has shown you a bit of insight. Just make sure that you're prioritizing the right things, because it's so easy on a bulk just to go, oh fuck it, throw things together. We still want to make sure that we are prioritizing, you know, your macros, good, healthful, nutritious foods as well. Otherwise, let me know if there's any questions. We're going to try and do a couple more of these before I do finish my bulk, just because this was not the most ideal day, but here we are. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time.